Hey YouTube, this is The Art of Prepping, just doing a part 2 of examples of my video that I did of the 14 essential EDC items. And while they may not be all essential to you, they are to me on some level. I find them to be the most practical of, um, of all the elements that I've tried in the past. So the number 14 is an arbitrary number. It just happened to be that once I put these items together and I found out what I was typically carrying on most days. And so just wanted to share that with you. You may have 20 items you carry. You may just, carry just 3 items. So this is just things that work for my system. And without further ado, I'd like to start with the cutting tools. You could, use a Victorinox or even your blade of your multi-tools. I prefer to carry, an actual individual dedicated blade. There's a Dragonfly 1 right here. We also have, larger options depending on what your comfort level is and if you may want to use it for self-defense besides just utility, like this Tenacious. Spyderco Tenacious is a really good option, cost effective. Of course, when it comes to your everyday carry, though, I wouldn't be so concerned about cost for a lot of this stuff unless you're just that constrained on your budget. I'd just go ahead and get what you really want because you're going to be carrying it for potentially years, if not maybe decades, if you find really what works for you. So it's an investment from the very get-go. Also, it makes life a lot easier when you know that the gear you have is what really you need. And you also can have a pride of ownership when you have that. You may even tend to show it off or, to even just kind of just check it out and just kind of look it over when you're just by yourself. So it's just something to look at and to consider. Okay, over here we also have our multi-tools. So besides having a blade, you want to have some type of tool system. It could be a Gerber dime or this small Gerber multi-tool that's made under the Bear Grylls line. I think this is called the Compact. And of course you could go with a Winger or a Victorinox, a multi-tool as well. Those are always a win. So next thing you have is a watch. Besides telling time, you can do things like navigation, find out what direction is north and south by using the sun and other different tricks. These are just it's a lot sometimes more handy to have a watch that you can just move your wrist and see what time it is, and trying to dig out your phone or take it out of the case or trying to do all that. You can just flip the wrist and you see what time it is. So that's the Casio Forester, and this one's in the olive green. I've had this for, wow, 7-8 years at least, and I really like this. They have one of them that's a different face. I think I have that one as well. It's a black face, and they inverted the numbers are light, and the actual face, excuse me, is dark. So you could get that one as well. I really like that, and it does have a light system inside, so you can see it dark. And lights. So talking about lights, I think this is just great. I know people like the ProTac stuff and the larger Streamlight pin lights, the 2 AAAs. I really like this one though. This is my Micro Stream by Streamlight. This works for me. I don't need much more than the 35 lumens. I have heard that the newest model for 2016 and late 2015 was bumped up to 45 lumens, which is awesome. So that's really a good bonus. So, with that being in mind, 35 to 45 lumens, that's plenty. You got several hours of runtime. If you need more throw, and more light, obviously you can just bump up to the 2 AAAs. You may get almost twice as much output. You can go with other brands that have more output, but the runtime and the consistency and the candelas with these Streamlights are on par and excellent. Next thing would be a notepad, such as just a little pad you can get at the dollar store for literally like 50 cents or less. And I get them in little packs of like 6, I believe, for just a few bucks. And you want to have a good pen, you can get a Fisher Space pen. Those are great. These aren't too bad either, these tactical pens, which could be also a non-lethal option that we'll come up to later in this video. And this is the second generation tactical pen by Smith & Wesson, made by Taylor Cutlery, and it's just one more option to have for writing and for documenting ideas. Some people say, well, if you have a smartphone, why don't you just type it in there? Sometimes just it's a lot harder to do that when you want to write out a map or draw a picture of something to remind you of something, and it's harder to do that in your phone. The next item will be fire. Just keeping a Bic lighter or a Scripto lighter or a Zippo lighter, whatever you like. It's a good idea. You never know when you need fire. Not just for emergencies in the wilderness to make a campfire, but maybe you need to melt the ends of some cording that's fraying or something of that nature. You can also go with, over here on my keychain, I have a ferrocerium rod. You can go with something like that, or, some people even carry just a very small match case full of matches. The next thing we have is our wallet. I used to, when I was younger, just, carry the traditional medium-sized wallet, and then I got into the larger wallets and the big tactical wallets, and all of a sudden I just kind of was a few years ago decided, let's go minimalistic, and I just did this small. I think this one's from Coach. You can get any of them. Fossil, I think, makes them. All kinds of places make them. Even if you wanted to get a non-leather version of this or any kind of generic, just has just two little slots in there, and for cards and just for a little bit of cash. That's all you really need, just for your IDs and so forth. The next item would be a bandana. And the bandana would, obviously, in my opinion, need to be made of 100% cotton. And they obviously make blends and, of course, some that are 100% polyester. I've even seen some that are nylon-based. Polyester would be good if you're camping and you just wanted something to wick some moisture off of your neck or off of a body part. It's not a bad idea, but cotton also, though, is a little bit more versatile overall for daily life. Besides using it as a handkerchief and blowing your nose, you can do a lot of things, in a survival sense with cotton, not just as a pre-filter, but as a bandage, as a water wicking source to collect water and dew in the morning. So this one is just something I picked up. I believe that this was at Walmart. They were like $1. This one's made in China. The RN number is 13960. And I like these, not just because of the design is cool. It's a pretty basic design, but they have some pretty cool designs. And I like this color as well, olive drab. But it's a color fast. And that's something that you don't see on all of these. And I just needed to point out that, when you wash these or when you use them, or if you're sweaty, you don't want the dye just to kind of just start to come out and get on your other clothing or gear. So just to be aware that you want color fast, quality bandanas, and that's going to be a bonus. The next item would be your non-lethal options, such as your pepper spray. And, of course, you could do your tactical pen. You could also have a taser. Some people say that a whistle is enough, and that's another item on the list. So this is a storm whistle. That particular model is the Windstorm. Highly recommend that. But so those are options there. You can also have training for hand-to-hand combat, or hand-to-hand combatives, they call it. And so you can look at those options as a viable means to keep distance from others and to get people off of you in an emergency. The next option would be your lethal option, like a firearm. I'm very fond of this particular Ruger. This is one of the original Ruger LCPs. Some people don't like the triggers. I say it is a kind of a heavy, kind of a bad trigger. But with practice, I can actually do some very tight groups and feel very confident. You do have to watch these slides and they're notorious for this. They will rust. I've had just a few spots, and originally this was all black, and so I had to sand this all down, and I just used various polish to remove and try to get this finished a little bit better looking. And I think that there actually is just a very small little spot starting to form again right here. So you just got to watch your tools and be mindful of care and maintenance, especially if they're in your pocket and you sweat and there's moisture. So these are just options here. Let me just look over my list real quick and just make sure we cover them all. Of course, the one that I left out in particular was the phone. I'm using the phone to video this, but any type of good phone system would work. I'm particular to various Samsung products, but that's just me. So we got our wallet, our cutting tool, our multi-tool, our light, our fire starter, our writing tool, our notepad, watch, phone, keychain, whistle, and our bandana, a non-lethal option, and a lethal option. And just in case if I didn't cover it very well, this is my keychain over here. I just trying to cover some items for just confidentiality reasons. But, I keep a medley of items on here. I do have a video on my keychain, minus my keys and other confidential items. So if you're interested in that, please check that out. So once again, for watching The Art of Prepping. And if you have any comments about these essentials, or if you would like to add or take away any of them in your system, and you'd like to explain why, put them down in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching.